Oh, there it is. Hey, welcome to Coaching with Tally. We are talking today about increasing peace in our lives. And I want to come today and talk to you guys about what you do when you're feeling challenging emotions, when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling resentful, when you have anger coming up, when you have emotions that are challenging, that are unpleasant. How do you lean into peace when you're in those places? Because we all have those places. We all have things that come up. It's part of being human. And a lot of the things in our culture have communicated to us, whether it's the families we grew up in, just culture in general, to push down those feelings, to suppress them, to do things that numb them out. We have all kinds of ways that we steer out of unpleasant emotions. And often that's going to keep us in that place longer. It's actually going to keep us stuck in that place. And there are going to be all of these kind of side symptoms that come out. It's like taking medication to numb one thing or to handle one set of issues, and then a whole other series of issues come up because of it. So we're going to talk today about what do we do with those challenging emotions? How can I support you into processing through just challenging things? Hey everybody, good to see you guys jumping on. So my name is Tally. I'm a life and personal development coach, and I have the honor and privilege of working with leaders to create lives of overflowing impact in the world that are centered in a place of joy. It's all about getting you guys aligned to who it is you most truly are, get you firing on all cylinders. We look at every area of life, and then get you into a place where you've created a life that you love living and can have beautiful impact in the world because of that. So today, again, in this series of peace, and we're wrapping it up this week, getting you guys all kinds of practical, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like things that you can apply right away today, whatever day we're in, giving you guys tips and things that you can do immediately to increase levels of peace in your life. And one of the things we haven't talked about in this series, we talked about it a little bit in Growth Mindset series, in the last series that we did, but it is looking at the range of emotions. And often we have this expectation, whether it was from family members or whether it's just from the culture that we live in, these expectations that we need to be in this place that's positive and happy. And if there are other things, if there's anger or resentment or sadness or grieving coming up, that we just kind of need to bury that, suppress it, definitely hide it from other people. And we just don't have the permission, I don't think, in the cultures that we live in to be really free to be vulnerable with where we are. And there's more and more research coming out that just shows the negative effects of that on our lives. I kind of want to, if I can get some statistics pulled up, I've got some things here for you guys. Hey Tay, if you get a second, will you pull that up for me in here? So it does all kinds of things. It lowers your immune system when you're suppressing your emotions. It does a lot in terms of, there are all kinds of studies on cancer and how that life expectancy, I think it's like 70% increase. I'll have to look at where that study is from, but it's crazy. It's crazy how integrated we are, body, soul, mind, and spirit. Thank you so much. That's, keep going. It's down further. Okay. So anyway, I want to talk to you about the impact on health, and then just also, it actually keeps us in that place so much longer. When we're struggling with something and we're doing things to kind of numb it up, whether it's addictive behaviors, whether it's just kind of pushing it down, whether it's kind of self-beat up around, like, why are you feeling so angry? Or why are you feeling so sad? Like, get over it and move on. Like, those kinds of messages actually keep us stuck in this longer. It's almost like putting a Band-Aid over a gaping wound and feeling like it's actually going to help. If there is something that's there that needs to be healed, so much better to actually just give it attention, to give it what it needs, to give yourself permission to feel what you're feeling. So this is coming up because I'm actually, I'm feeling sad about some things that I personally, it's a loss in my life. There's somebody, a mentor in my life, Terry Wardle, who said this quote, and when he said it, this was probably, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago when I heard him say this, and it was so profound for me. He said, every loss in life deserves an appropriate amount of grieving. Like, even if it's you scuffed your brand new shoes, you know, it might be something that just seems ridiculous and like you shouldn't feel sad about, but if it's something that means something to you, if it feels like a loss to you, letting yourself actually feel the loss of that, feel sad about that, grieve the loss of whatever it is. It might be bigger things in life. It might be smaller things. It might be a small thing that taps into something that was really significant for you that you actually never got to heal. And so it taps in, and that feels, it can feel really overwhelming. So letting yourself just have permission to feel what you're feeling is super healthy. And I just want to be a voice that communicates that over and over again. Letting ourselves just feel sad when we feel sad. Noticing the things that are coming up, giving attention to those things that are coming up for you as if they're signposts that point you to something else that's going on. So you might not like what's coming up in you, but if you allow it to steer your attention toward what really does need some attention, it can be a real gift. Like often we have anger or resentment coming up because there's something actually really wrong that's going on there. Often there's some kind of boundary that you have that's being infringed upon, or there's some kind of injustice going on that you're like, that's not right. And so while you might not love the way that you're feeling about it, if you can get yourself into a place where you can step back just a little bit and be an observer of yourself in the situation, a compassionate observer of yourself in the situation, to go get curious and go, what is it that's tapping into? What's going on there? That's a sign of something that I want to come alongside this part of me and parent, nurture, be compassionate toward, give the attention and the healing to that's there. Because it's so much easier often to just overeat or to steer into any kind of addictive behavior, even if it's a really socially acceptable addictive behavior. But you'll know for yourself if it's something that is an avoidance behavior or not. So if you're just avoiding it, you're actually going to prolong it. Because if it doesn't get healed, the next thing that comes up in some kind of situation that triggers into it, you'll have that, I call it a 10-2 reaction, where it's a 2-level incident, or maybe 4, it's like a lower level incident, and you react as if it's this like huge thing, this 10 on the Richter scale of what's going on. And often when I see that in myself, I'm like, okay, that's tapping into something deeper, because it's not about this situation. It's tapping into something else that's going on in me that has maybe had some levels of healing, but isn't all the way healed yet. So allowing yourself to be a compassionate, loving observer of what's going on, just like you would, a child, just like you would, whether it's your child or a niece or nephew or a family friend that you just, they're learning, and you have compassion toward what it is they're going through and that they don't understand yet. There are parts of you that are like that are stuck way back in some place along your growth and maturing. And there are places that get stuck because of wounding, because of trauma, because of whatever it is. And often when we have negative emotions coming up, it's because it's triggering back into there. And what you really need in that situation is not another critical voice, not another like, what's wrong with you? Get over it. Come on, pull up the bootstraps and move on. But what you really need is for yourself and other people that you trust in your life to be able to come alongside that place in you and just be kind, just be nurturing. Go okay, what is it that is missing here? What is it that you're needing? And how can you get yourself that support from yourself? Maybe through journaling, maybe through some kind of prayer, getting connected to people that you do trust in your life, just to listen. And especially if you're an external processor, I would really recommend either connecting with somebody who's just a great listener for you, or journaling. I remember the hardest season of my life, I would journal pages a day. I would journal for a few pages, and then something would come up and I would be journaling. I was mowing through the journals, because it was just a great way for me to get a lot of what was really overwhelming out, and help me realize as I was writing it, or sometimes when I verbally process, I'm like, oh, that's what's going on for me. A lot of times I just can't figure it all out in my head. And I don't know if you're aware right now if you're an internal processor or an external processor, but if you're an external processor, journaling will be really supportive for you. And so is getting yourself into a place where you have people that can listen, whether that's a counselor or a coach or a friend, a family member, somebody that you trust to just be able to process with. So the big thing I want to leave you with is permission to feel the full range of your emotions. Let me see if I can pull up the statistics. So this is a 2013 study from Harvard that said, let's see, showed that people who bottled up their emotions increased their chance of premature death from all causes by more than 30%. So it was a variety of different causes of death. And their risk of being diagnosed with cancer by 70%. That's crazy. So that whole thing of like bottling up our emotions, it just doesn't work. So I want to give you permission to feel what you're feeling. It negatively affects our blood pressure, our memory, our self-esteem. Fascinating stuff. I was watching Brene Brown today. She was giving a speech, but really, really good on the power of just vulnerability and being courageous to feel what it is that we feel. So that was just another like little thumbs up to what I was thinking about sharing with you guys today. A study from the University of Texas, actually that's who she was giving her speech to, the graduating class of the University of Texas, found that by not acknowledging our emotions, we're actually making them stronger. Isn't that fascinating? So resisting your emotions actually causes them to be like, no, I do feel like this. And they actually come on stronger when you can just look at it and go, okay, I'm feeling sad right now. Okay, I'm feeling angry right now. Okay, I've got resentment coming up right now. Whatever the feelings are, if you can acknowledge them, be a compassionate observer of them, and find a way to process some of that, it'll really support you. So rather than suppressing them or resisting them, letting yourself be that observer, noticing the emotions that are there and allowing those to be indicators for you. So it's almost like in your car, your dashboard lights come on. When those things come up, just be like, you don't have to make yourself wrong about it. When your oil light comes on, you're not like, oh my gosh, why do I need an oil change? You know, you're just like, it's time for an oil change. Okay. Oh, my gas is low. I need to get gas. It's like that for you. And your emotions that can be challenging emotions, unpleasant emotions, are that. They're the lights on the dashboard that just let you know, give you neutral information about something that's going on so that you can handle it, so that you can take good care of it. So blessings on that for you. I really encourage you guys. You might not have that coming up today. You might be feeling super joyful and positive and grateful and all of that. And if so, that's wonderful. You can just tuck this away for later. And if you do have something that's there, maybe this tapped into something where you're like, yeah, I have had this kind of going on. I just really encourage you to give yourself permission to feel what you're feeling, to grieve whatever losses are there that are going on. And I didn't share this analogy, but this is one that helps me a lot. Grief and actually any negative emotion can often come like waves on the seashore. You kind of don't know when they're coming. All of a sudden there's this crashing wave and you're like, okay, that's like whatever the emotion is that's coming up, and then it stills and it goes back out, and just allowing things to just come up as they come up, feel them, acknowledge them, roll with what's coming up, be kind to yourself in it, get yourself the support that you need, and just know that it's just all part of it, and not having shame around feeling pain or loss or grief or sadness or anger or resentment, any of those. So blessings. I hope that supports you. We'll be back again tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow I have a special gift for you. Fidel Ford, who I bring on many of my retreats to do massage therapy and also lead yoga in the mornings for everyone on the retreat, will be with us, and we're going to do some breath work. So we'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll actually get to do it tomorrow. So if you want to give yourself a little treat, come and join us for that tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern. Blessings, everybody. You are loved.